the foot back, wants the foul.
Nehemiah Holloway picking up that personal foul. It's her third, so she will take a seat. Clark, triple, splash.
That last possession, we saw Caitlin Clark inbounds it. See, she inbounds the basketball, just pops off this staggered screen, doesn't have.
Into the game now as Hall goes to the bench after the second foul. You have about a 6-second difference game in shot clock. Here's Clark. Will Iowa wind it down? No, that's why!
The way you do it gives so much hope and inspiration to others, and that's what attracts our fans to come into Carver Hawkeye Arena every single night and give us 15,000 people screaming for us. Is
take players in tough positions defensively where they can foul.
Here's Martin. Clark, again coming off the screens. Clark steps back, fires, you bet!
The third meeting between Iowa and Nebraska. Each team winning on its home court in the regular season. Clark off balance.
Capitalizing on those big plays.
FDU has been pulled to get fourth in the NEC Conference development this year. If she can really step up and be that second star, this Iowa team can be very, very dangerous. Clark now at the free throw line extended. Backing down her defender, a nice hook shot layup.
There's Clark curling around, bounce pass to Marshall. Open for three, in and out.
Opportunities hunt them down.
Yeah, that was really interesting, and I think it's helped her teammates find more confidence.
Clark, and she takes a breather. Clark gets the through the legs pass. Open in the lane, got fouled. Caitlin Clark going
On that read.
Last year, it's really been a big question who's going to be the bigs now. And sophomore Hannah Stolke has certainly stepped up into that role, as well as Addison O'Grady as Clark drives in, steps back off the paint, and good.
Into the paint, really putting the pressure on this Minnesota defense.
Clark will fire.
That's why they're the top two teams in the Big Ten when it comes to scoring.
Hey, offense is really fun. It makes the game so enjoyable to watch. And you have
but good hustle plays.
Clark with the step back three.
Hannah Stolke back in there, so Fulter is going to have to play a big role on the rebounding end, especially defensively.
Caitlin Clark in the paint, battling with Gallinopoulos, up and fouled.
3 of those were in back-to-back seasons. Clark with her first triple. It was off balance.
No question about it. And if you're the Hawkeyes, you got to find where's that drift. You can't over-penetrate and try to attack Ayoka Lee. And that's a tough Husker history. And we see here Caitlin Clark off the out-of-bounds play with the splash. Iowa points. She's done a little bit more scoring and not needed as much distribution in the third and so far the fourth quarter, but coming out of the timeout, he gets it right back. Inside 5 minutes left to play for a championship. Clark second.
Gets it back to Clark. Marshall, who only attempted one shot.
Previous game, you leave your blood, sweat, and tears out here when it's tournament time. Michigan should be in the NCAA tournament after making it to the semifinals. Huge win over Ohio State already this season. But it's hard when things don't go the way you want them to in this game.
Carolina, so would have been their basketball. Clark finds the cutter. Martin lays it in.
Tannen steps out for Loyola Chicago, and in comes Keika. This one, a quick shot by Kate Martin, but no good.
Martin comes back in for the Hawkeyes.
Iowa's going to have to be deliberate on their screens. They had a hard time getting it in the last time on the under out of bounds.
Here's a Fulter on the drive. A Fulter lays it in.
Edwards there, just a little bit late.
Clark to inbound, gets it into a Fulter, who's done a wonderful job since entering the starting lineup. A Fulter in trouble.
80 percentile is pretty good as well, by the way. You're shooting for that. So basically all that means is Caitlin Clark gets an A+ in efficiency.
Just for some perspective, some other great players. Meantime, Feuerbach going to the cup. She will go to
rebound.
the top of sisters in the country since she entered college.
She has a shot at getting to 1,000 assists in her career as well. And you see men's or women's first.
2014, who won the Big Ten tournament title. Iowa looking for the three-peat with a win here today. Nice slip by Stolke.
It's kind of a secondary break, and they are just letting her
into the paint, they have to do a better job of trying to keep her in front.
How do you do that?
Move your feet, be ready to help early instead of it being too late when she's already in the middle of the paint.
To the rim action by Sanders, somebody that can really get downhill. They need to utilize her ability to do that tonight.
And Caitlin Clark has checked back in with a minute to go. She's finding Davis at the rim.
A couple of NCAA games right here at Carver Hawkeye.
Last NCAA reveal had them as a 2 seed.
Getting the wide open look. Here's a Falter looking to drive it again. Needs help this time. Flings it out. Clark open three is good.
But Penn State hasn't been able to do that damage in Iowa because they can't score the ball and set up in it.
Brigham commits that foul. That's her second, so off to the bench for her. Stuelke.
A year ago with Iowa winning right here in Iowa City at the buzzer, this young lady Clark.
They're 53-10. And for her, Marshall, and Martin, their 131st starts together over the last 4 years.
Managing that emotionally as well, knowing that they were going to give up those offensive boards and not to let it debilitate them mentally. Clark. Marshall looked like she got pushed. No call. Martin fakes the pass. Now dishes. A Falter will drive it. Good look. And Stuelke lays it in.
Tonight. Martin. 12 getting it done again. They've already got 3 teams through to the next round. Big 12 has a couple, and Baylor
decide. The puppet master and running the control room. Martin turns, can't hit.
Go. Diamond Miller goes to the WNBA, was really a volume scorer for this team. Abby Ellis as well, trying to find new roles and figure it out.
Stuelke with a rebound, finds Molly D. Got it.
Clark in and out.
UConn has done an exceptional job in this first half. So 2 fouls on Mule, 2 on Edwards as a Falter.
Really good Duke team that's had a great start to this tournament.
Freshman Ashlyn Shade is coming off a really solid second-round performance, and then the Ivies, the grad transfers alongside Juju Watkins, have been stellar.
A Falter, great footwork and
offensive rebounding ability that this South Carolina team has.
Clark didn't get much space there with Hall on her. Clark the crossover and the hit from 3.
Under 8 to play. I'd like to see Iowa look for a slip on that switch one time after a timeout. Maybe with Kate Martin.
High 49 points against Michigan, and that was to become the women's all-time NCAA leading scorer. Clark for 3.
Clark just hounded by Kapanis.
Lonnie Kapanis has done a great job keeping Clark in front of her. There's the double.
He's struggling with that double team. Shot clock at 3. Feuerbach will fire. Gonna stay here. Great effort by the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Reese impactful again on the defensive end.
Here's Marshall. Iowa gonna let some more time wind. Clark sizing up Van Lith. Will drive it. Stops over Reese. Can't bank it in.
That was where I thought maybe a little arm might have gotten her.
Clark's got 6 assists. Will penetrate that time.
If she gets involved in a game, you might see Caitlin Clark play on the ball more.
Yeah, this is still, this is way too tight of a game to be thinking, let's take now.
That's at least 5, and actually they're going to say that was before the shot, so no free throws there. Marshall to Martin on the drive. Around passes. Already, with her right hand. Already with 3 assists. Marshall, you got to get out on the shooter.
Team was an assistant to John McLeod at Notre Dame. So, Coach McGuff met his wife, Letitia, who was playing there. And with Davis out of the lineup, Caitlin Clark has scored the last 11 for the Hawkeyes. She needs 4 points to pass Pistol Pete Maravich's all-time record of 3. Short.
Peck, Aaliyah. Well, Papa Clark, I'm sure he's got some snacks in there. Clark will inbound, under a minute to go, into Stolke, right back to Clark. Stolke bounces underneath, Martin able to finish.
On Caitlin Clark. So if everybody else can step up in a major way, that's only going to be successful for Iowa.
Kappen is just hounding Clark. Her 10th attempt.
Already gone there.
Clark to inbound here. Gets it into Stolke, gets it right back. Clark forcing her way, kicks it out. That 3, no good for Fear.
Over the last 9 games for this team, and when Iowa is sharing the basketball, Caitlin Clark got things going.
AA championships. I know we all have this date together tonight. Remember, we have another one Friday on ESPN. And then Sunday on ABC.
Woman up, play with pace. That quarter was on your own agenda. Let's get back to our game plan.
You know, her brother once got a rebound and she shoved him to the wall and he had to have staples put in the back of his head. You know, she wants to win. She cares about being great. But sometimes it comes out in frustration. Her dad told me this is something they are constantly talking about and working on. Jan Jensen, Lisa Bluter said, let us talk to the official. But
Coach Damasco that Clark would be just 1 for 4 from 3 in this quarter as Clark fades and hits. None of their staff came back over to Hertz Arena to work this women's game. Busy day of basketball. Fearbox 3 is good.
Frustrated with all the Iowa sound here. We're very noisy.
Yeah, that block had to have felt good for Alexis Markowski, who we talked about. Very adamant about wanting to finally beat Iowa.
What's your idea of who the GOAT is? Diana Taurasi.
I don't choose one. I think, are we looking at all time? Are we looking at the college game? Think about what Breanna Stewart.
On ESPN. Clark trying to get it in, does to Stolke. Clark telling Stolke, back it out. She does. Here's Clark racing, taking, can't hit, long.
Nebraska's 3rd team foul. It's Kendall Coley's first personal foul, and Coley now will take a seat. Count the Parker for full possession. She has been looking to score, and that's enough.
Marshall on the inbounds. Marshall 3 for 4 from downtown. I mean, perfect execution. It's just the screen, the screener. Great job by Hannah Stolke to clean it up. Stolke had 2 fouls in that first half. Martin, the glue player for this team. I mean, she is tough as nails. Great job creating the contact, finishing with the putback. Lisa Bluter thought she should have been the 6th player of the year in the Big Ten this season. Had a terrific Big Ten tournament.
Marshall, beautifully done.
Here's Martin, deep underneath. Martin lays it in.
This season, she had 47, only to be up by her teammate Clark with 49.
Incredible. She's had a prolific season herself. She's been their #1 by the officials.
And you want to see that kind of intensity. And another whistle.
I mean, that's such a quick whip of the ball, and I don't think Stolke was ready for it.
Clark pulls it back out to Lisa. Corner 3 on the way.
You know that feeling, right? I mean, if there's that camaraderie and togetherness where if you're opening to see the ball, you do things better, right?
Absolutely.
There it is. Drive and kick from Caitlin Clark. Got it.
Total career.
That's
total
your
career.
opinion.
Not college, total career.
I have a different opinion.
What's your opinion?
We'll see. I'm going to show you in a second.
Oh, I can't wait.
Give me
You got
a second.
Teed up.
She also said we can't turn the ball over because those are possessions, and we know they may win the possession battle with rebounds. Clark trying to get it in, and that's going to be a 5-second violation as Iowa doesn't.
Sits with the 2 fouls.
Good D. A lot of denial from West Virginia. Somebody else has got to get the ball. Lob over the top to Clark. Martin finds Marshall in a shot clock violation.
The back flexibility, you have to be young to be able to take that hit and get right back up.
Caitlin Clark.
And this is just another defensive lapse. She's the leading scorer of all time, and there's nobody paying attention to her. It doesn't matter if she's inbound.
Falter back to Clark. Doesn't happen that time, but a falter.
Things as well, like hang out, watch a movie, you know.
Clark read it all the way in this building. As we take a look at today's Play with the Plan, brought to you by TIAA.
Everybody always forgets about the inbounder, Caitlin Clark, forgotten about on this possession. Wide open opportunity, and credit Gabby Marshall for getting her the ball right.
Balance.
Back to Clark.
Of her swinging a golf club as well. She is an insane golfer.
Make it 3 threes, Kim.
And here is the last three. Caitlin was the inbounder on that one, and the Purdue defense completely falls asleep. If Caitlin Clark is in...
Some upsets in these tournaments. In the quarterfinals, number 1 seed, Ohio State lost. Michigan State, the number 4 seed, lost in the quarters. These are the two teams who have survived. The 2 and the 5. Clark from straight away.
Iowa keeps the ball. Caitlin dumped down. Stolke.
Get her off.
Molly Davis, Clark off a screen, cross-court baseline jumper.
And take a look at this. Everyone is so focused in on Clark. You find Martin with a clean look from 3. Kate Martin shooting just over 33% from 3, but when she has that much time and space, she will knock them down.
Hannah Stolke call for
offensive weapon for Lisa Bluder, so that's what's so huge with this team. Davis getting it to Clark. That's is one shy of setting a new single season women's record. Aren't you glad you died?
Movie, by the way.
You've seen it.
3 hours, but it's worth it. It's very well done. Make sure you all watch it.
Clark looking for her teammate. First personal. Clark again taking it out for the baseline. To a cutting Stolke left side.
I love Michigan's defense. Some of the best ball screen defense in the country, but on that.
Listening in on that Iowa huddle.
Well, Coach Bluder was telling this team
Float her in the corner, and boy, she's perfected that shot. 6 of 12 from 3 in that semifinal game, Julianne. 30 points. She had 17 in the first half. Caitlin Clark, scoreless.
Clark. Now Clark rolls down the lane. Great position. Passes that one up. 10 on the shot clock. Pick and roll. Cross court. Baseline.
Make plays like that. Stolke. It looked like she was expecting the inbounds pass. She still seems a little bit out of sorts. She only played 10 minutes in the opening round due to illness. A lot of folks think after Caitlin graduates to the WNBA, Juju's got next with this terrific freshman class around the country.
The ball, trying to keep Clark out of the paint, and then they've just been too slow or scrambling to try to find shooters.
Kate Martin somehow.
She is having an incredible night thus far. Defensively, offensively, on the glass. Here's a falter, needs help, tried to force it to Stolke, it wasn't.
Green if she doesn't have any help from her big.
Here's Clark into Marshall, thought about taking another. Clark will, short.
Clark, she is 1-0 in her second season. Last year was really a game that...
Good things happen there. We've had a lot of kickball. Best block I've ever seen, maybe in my life yesterday.
Yeah. That was great. She looked like Spider-Man. Fresh 20. Clark yet to hit a field goal today. Owusu on her. Caitlin's going to want to take advantage of that if she can. Martin from deep.
Action when you're in foul trouble. So Celeste Taylor will stay on the floor. Like I mentioned, Kevin McGuff trusts his players to stay in through it. The handoff to Clark. She's eyeing it. Puts it in.
But yes, you're very aware of it. You have someone on the bench that's keeping track of things like that.
She's up to 20.
Game. They were outscored 27-8 in the second quarter.
Caitlin Clark has never won here in Maryland. Meanwhile,
Caroline, the ability for a 22-year-old to put all of this into perspective and shout out her teammates as she goes.
On that defense, she stepped up, and that's why she got the blocking foul. Hake staying in with 3 personals and a late whistle.
Record at Kinnick Stadium in the early fall, 55,000 plus. Nebraska, obviously, with that volleyball game back in 2023, which was such a spectacle.
by a Falter. Stolke slips to the hole and uses it side.
That is massive for the Wolverines. She has been the primary defender on Clark. Stolke.
I agree.
Oh, wonderful give and go as Clark inbounds it.
Ball goes in, don't forget the inbounder, and just like that, Clark simply just backdoor cuts. It's not even that hard of a cut, but you catch your defender.
And you wouldn't know it by the way they're playing in the half court. Her lungs, her legs, and everything else. Clark weaving along the baseline. Davis.
Hitting Stolke and a falter for their efforts. Clark.
People, there are no shortcuts when it comes to defending her. Under 1, under 2, all day long she's going to make that.
Clark with the shot clock off. Now Hobbs in her grip. Gabby Marshall, yes! Against Penn State, but it is 1 through 5 hitting the glass. Yeah, everybody is on, and that's hard to do.
Nice take by Marshall.
Here's Martin. Stolke has it knocked away.
Outlet for Caitlin, who constantly dictates the tempo and control of a game.
Caitlin 1 for 5 from the field to start, but she can score points in bunches.
Kate Martin has grown exponentially in her scoring roles at Iowa since she stepped foot on campus. This 3.
No foul trouble right now for the Hawkeyes. Clark steps back, fades.
And working for easier, high percentage shots. When I asked if she needed to say anything to Caitlin Clark with that shooting slump in the first half, she said no, she knows what she needs to do, as we've seen so far in this second half, but she emphasized boxing out. Nebraska had 11 second chance points and 26 total rebounds, guys.
Clark off the...
And that's something I think we stopped talking about when it comes to Mackenzie Holmes, is her body transformation that has happened since her freshman year. She is stronger, quicker, faster.
And she certainly does that with just about every pass she throws.
There's certainly no reins on what she can choose to do as she dances down the lane and finds Stolke.
Catches it from 35 feet out.
Talked about 48 points being the Iowa women's basketball record for a game. Stolke draws 2, dumps it down.
Feuerbach comes into the game for Iowa. Stolke wasn't quite ready for it. A falter with 3 to shoot. Might have to. Gets it to Stolke. They didn't have time for that. Shot clock violation.
Attack the rim. Jazz Shelley defending Caitlin Clark, top part of your screen, and they build the game for Nebraska at +13. Shelley defending Clark, the bottom of your screen. And Stokey gets bumped.
Have delivered big time in this first quarter. Clark bounces, Stokey able to finish.
Under out of bounds play, and you see the screen by Gabby Marshall, set beautifully. It's always great to get a little, setting a screen on the big.
With 0.2 of a second. Clark lobs it up. O'Grady, no, and that will do it. Clark
tried to get it into Martin.
See her transition assists, just sensational this season. Here's Stokey with the size on Shade. Flings it out to Martin. Martin in trouble. Going to let it go out of bounds.
Edgar will get some minutes here. In for Stokey. Here's Martin in a crowd. Gets fouled.
Interesting to see here how Iowa handles it.
O'Grady was trying to give it back to Clark. It'll stay here. I always love how swift. It's not just a zone. It's a 1-3-1 traffic zone. Clark finds Martin. Can't hit. And
fluidity to the basket. Big play there by the junior guard out of Chicago, Illinois. Came in with 28 steals, but here's another steal for the Nittany Lions. Odin lays it up and in.
Speed that they want to play.
Clark in the corner, connects. Not overlooked by you. 1.1 to go. Iowa out of timeouts. Clark bounces off of Beckers out of bounds with just 1/10 of a second remaining. What a brilliant play by Clark. And there is barely any time left. But I think it may have taken an extra hop inbounds. Let's see. Boom, boom. Maybe 0.7 it'll be at.